What's up everyone, it's my yard here, it's 2K17 part 2 of lovely goodness. We're going to focus purely on the ladder match. Purely because I did a lot of time with the ladder match. It was only in the SummerSlam build, which means it was only Fatal 4-Way match I got to play it in. And lots of cool stuff happened. Yeah, lots of cool stuff. So much that I have to make a separate video, and it's going to be maybe quite a long video, because despite most people not really talking about the ladder match while playing, they've talked about the new mechanic of grabbing the belt, and I'll talk about that. There's not much said about the giant ladder. You can see that's perched down there. There's not been much said about how to position ladders and stuff like that, so I want to go through all that juicy goodness for you. Let's just talk about ladder positioning right now, since we've seen it in different positions in the video clips at the minute. If you hold R1 and L1 outside the top of the ring, as you were to go to grab a weapon normally, if you hold the R1, you'll be able to get the giant ladder, only if there's nothing in your way to set it up. So at the beginning of a match in the Fatal 4-Way, there is a small ladder at the top of the ring, and so you have to move that first before you can get out the giant ladder. That giant ladder will only come out once per match as well, so if it's used for any reason, whether that's throwing them into it, doing an OMG moment, etc, etc, you can't bring it back afterwards. There's a lot of one-time use only things here, as I discussed about the suicide dive and the OMG superplex, of which, by the way, at least in this build, you cannot do the OMG outside superplex through this giant ladder. Can't be done, unfortunately. I tried it, but it could be changed in the build. It's a very early build again that we played, so keep that in mind. The stuff I'm saying can easily change. Talking of which, this neck breaker, I actually did counter it, and it turns into kind of like the RKO counter, in the sense that when he swings, you literally just shove him off and you stay on the ladder, which is a cool little feature, I must say. As we progress, let's talk about ladder positioning even more. Firstly, you can put it in 5 locations with it set up. So you've got in the middle there, and then you can basically put it a bit closer to the ropes to climb up, as well as putting it into the corner. You can also lean it onto the ropes, again by using this context button, by using the R2 button on the PS4 and an option, you'll be able to lean on the ropes and also lean the ladder from the apron into the ring. That was a bit buggy from the apron, from the ring to the apron, but again, early builds, that'll be fixed. There we go. That's a nice giant ladder. Lots of cool stuff could be done with that giant ladder as well. You can still set up the ladder normally outside the ring too, so don't worry about that, because I think a lot of people are scared, oh, you can't do it outside. Yes, you can. You can't put it in positions again where it will be near or attracted to other things, because as you've seen in 2K16 in previous years, it gets a bit glitchy and a bit hard, so they've basically removed that sense of struggle to get into the nature of the beast, and causing more problems than it's worth. So you'll be able to still set up a table, set up a ladder beside the announce table, and be able to do some juicy goodness. With the announce table though, you still can only do announce table finishes. You can't just leave them on top of it, and I never got a chance to try of pushing the ladder over, and the old sort of bug, as it were, where you could have someone resting on top of the announce table by pushing them off the ladder first, and they'll stay on the table. It's like a Japanese botchamania table that doesn't break. Don't know. Also, for 4-Way, we couldn't go into the crowd or anything like that in this last man standing match. Ladder match. There was no last man standing, guys. So don't. I minced my words there. What else have we got? There was OMG moment. Kevin Owens, as you can see, that giant ladder there. If you whip him into that giant ladder, both of you on the outside, basically it kind of looks like the announce table animation of them resting their head on it. OMG moment, again using the R1 plus the finisher to be able to, so you don't accidentally do something you don't want to do, and you do a power bomb into that big giant ladder. But that's not the only thing you can do. If you basically strong Irish whip or Irish whip them over the rope in the direction of where the ladder is, you'll be able to have them rest on the ladder. In fact, you actually saw it in the recent gameplay trailer. You saw Seth getting put onto it very, very briefly. So depending on health or whatnot, you've got a certain amount of time to do whatever your just desserts are going to be. Whether that, and I've done it in these positions, so you can quote me on this. I did a diving move off the apron myself. I think Dean did a little splash, if I remember rightly. And yep, went through the ladder. He and Seth crumpled the ladder in place. The AI, in fact, when he Irish whipped someone, another AI opponent into that giant ladder, Kevin Owens then did a splash, if I recall, through the ladder. Again, destroyed it. And thankfully, most importantly, if someone is resting on that ladder, you will be able to throw someone into that ladder as well, and the ladder will still break and everything's cool. So it's a nice, awesome little experience. It doesn't seem to be buggy in any way, even on this build, so look forward to it. But like I say, you can only use it once. Once it's gone, you can't use it again, so make sure if you're going to do cool spots, you make full use of it. Let's talk about the new exit system in terms of grabbing the belt. I can only experience it as talking sort of like the TNA Impact game with grabbing the X Division in the Ultimate X match, because it's sort of just getting used to it. You're using your right analog stick to move the ball, and then R2 is to time it to insert the ball, to penetrate, so to speak. As this thing's spinning around, it is possible to try and get the ball inside the hole when you're getting attacked, and it takes a few strikes to get you knocked off. You're not gonna get knocked off the first attempt, and while someone's pushing over the ladder as well, you've still got the opportunity to climb down. And there's some decent new sort of fall animations as well with people pushing the ladder over. Another cool thing with them dangling off the briefcase, they can't win it, as far as I can tell. When the briefcase is like that, there's no animation to give you that bar again, the X animation there, but you can springboard and knock them off when they're dangling, like you could in previous games. It has that old drop kick animation, and the spear, I believe, is still in the game as well. So cool things with that regard. There's two other cool small little things that people aren't aware of. One is holding the ladder. Whereas before, holding the ladder, especially in 2K16, you would have it horizontally, and you'd be able to do an X attack, a running attack, or the grapple attack or whatever. You can still do that, but to get the horizontal position, you have to press hold R2, because to begin with, you'll be holding the ladder vertically. And yes, you can still do strikes, and you can still do little cool things of that nature, but you can't just do animation, basically. It's easier for the animation to set up the ladder, basically. So holding R2 will make you do it horizontally. And the other cool thing, even though the positionings of the ladders and stuff are fixed in that regard, and feel a bit slow, to be honest, it feels maybe a tiny bit clunky of that nature, and ladders can still be knocked off by doing grapple moves. There's still occasions of me doing suplexes and stuff, knocking the ladder over that way. You can reposition the ladder when it's set up by holding R1 and using the right analog stick. So in this scenario, you see the ladder is diagonal. If you go to, say, push it off and no one was on it, instead of pushing it off, you could, by pressing R1 and R, change the angle to maybe make it completely vertical or completely horizontal, which I think is actually cool, because if you know someone's got the ladder set up on the outside to the ring apron. They could obviously run and maybe jump onto the ladder. You could change the positioning beforehand, so they can't do that. Nice little bit of strategy in that regards. I'm trying to think of anything else. You can't use a ladder and set it up and lean it on the another ladder in the game, inside the ring especially. And I think that's about it off the top of my head. I'm just going to go quickly through the gameplay one more time. It does take quite a few amount of strikes to knock an opponent off. It's definitely not a double strike sort of thing. And I really enjoyed playing the 4-way matches, I have to say. The AI was intuitive. It was cool. And with 4-way matchup, the knockdown icon and everything was a good feature. There's a lot of stuff I've still forgotten about. And they'll come to me over the coming days. I wrote some notes and some good notes. But as you watch footage and gameplay and everything, things will come back into the fold, into my brain. And so if you've got any questions about ladder matches, leave it in the comments section below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more WWE gaming goodness, because you know I give you the goodness, the absolute goodness. I feel jet lagged, even though I used a plane to get from UK to UK. If that makes any sense, the air pressure does your noggin in really bad sometimes. But it was awesome, and you can have lots of fun, I think, with this particular mode. I don't know how well it will affect with a TLC match, but at least a ladder match on its own is good enough. Oh, 4 ladders in a fatal 4-way. There is 2 available, one at the top, one at the bottom, but you are still able to grab a ladder from the left and a ladder from the right if you hold R1 first. Otherwise, you'll get the generic weapon in that spot, which I think is a chair in all areas. From the left and right. Same for the giant ladder at the top. If you just press it normally, you will get the chair first. So bear that in mind. It's just a little bit of just goodness. Came to me in the end. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We will see you very, very soon. Take it easy. Have some fun. And if you want any questions, leave it in the comments section. Bye-bye.